It's been a while since I've recorded one of these updates on my trip on my phone, and the reason for that is this. I actually broke my left leg on day 7 up at Heavenly. That was back on December 23rd. And I had to end up having surgery like that same day. So I've been in my Airstream, just hanging out and working and contemplating life and figuring out what I'm gonna do next. Let me tell you how this happened. It was the last run of the day. I had been cruising it all day long. And I had this run that I was going to take that would go down to my car. And there was a series of these really cool jumps that I'd been hitting. I'd been doing this all day long. Like, it's no big deal, right? And these jumps were slightly off-piste where there was a trail and there's a series of them. And there was a trail crossing, right? And so after the second jump, I hit the first jump, nailed it. I'm going fast. Like I'm going as fast as I can when I hit this thing. So I was somewhere in the neighborhood of 40, maybe 45 miles an hour when I hit the jump. Big jump, took it, landed it clean, was going up to the second jump. As I'm going up to the second jump, I see people in the trail crossing that are coming in front of it. So if I take that jump, I'm going to jump into these people. So I can't do that. So I carved. Now, when I carved, because I was slightly off piste, these big jumps were actually in between these little clusters of trees, these little stubby trees. They were only 3-4 feet tall, but they had 12-inch around trunks on them. So I carved to my left to miss the jump and avoid them trees. Well, the snow there was really choppy, and so I started skidding, and it made me start to slide towards the first tree of this little cluster, the front leading tree. Imagine it in they're in a fighter pilot formation, and this one's sticking out at the front, and then the rest of them are kind of going back to the side like that. So I'm kind of going towards it, and I carve a little bit harder, and I don't know if it was just the snow or if it was the fact I had 112 underfoots in this probably both of those things, but all of a sudden my legs just went out from under me, and I'm sliding at this tree, and I think I'm going to hit it in my side right here, and I'm going, I was going fast, so my speed didn't slow down when I went to my side. So what I did was, my instinct was to kind of roll out of the way. And as I was rolling myself out of the way, I get my right leg out, I moved my body, I missed that, and my left leg, the ski, as I was kind of rotating around, the bottom of the ski stuck in the snow. And as it stuck in the snow, my momentum then, I was stuck, it whipped me around, and it smacked the front of my shin right into the tree, right above my boot. So if it was a series of a whole bunch of little unfortunate events that kind of led to this strange getting whipped into the tree. And I knew as soon as my leg hit the tree, it was broken. And after I went to the doctor, it was a completely clean break of the tibia. I did not break the fibula, and it was a compound fracture through the skin. So yeah, I knew immediately it was broken, and it was just kind of a thud, you know what I mean? It wasn't really painful or anything to me, but more than anything, my ego was pained, because I knew right in that moment that this ski trip that I planned, and I put a lot into this thing, you know what I mean? Just planning it, but also what it was supposed to represent with me going through divorce. And this was kind of a cleansing trip for me, doing something I wanted to do since I was a little kid. And you'll see videos, I've been making videos every day. I wake up, I was just so grateful and happy, I'm in my happy place. And in that moment, I knew that what I had envisioned this thing to be, which I was saying on the videos, I wanted to hit 90 days on mountain, that no longer was going to happen. And so the disappointment of that was way more painful than the actual breaking of my leg. But I laid there in the snow, and I'm laying there in the snow, and my initial reaction was anger. That's how people actually found me. I was pounding my fist into the snow and yelling obscenities. And then people came, and they took me down in a sled, and I went to the hospital. But when people came over, they were talking with me. People came right away because they heard me yelling. They're like, "What's wrong?" And I told them what happened. And then, people want to comfort you. So they started asking what was going on. And I'm telling them my story and how I was disappointed. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, that sucks, blah, blah, blah." And then, but in that moment, I realized and I've been through so much difficult in my life that this is nothing new. There's always two ways that you can look at these things. You can get all upset and become a fucking victim, and be like, "Oh, chose me. That's, you know what I mean? I decided that a long time ago I ain't gonna ever be a victim. So I knew there was obviously lessons that I needed to learn from this, so I spent quite a bit of time lying there in pain, thinking about these lessons, which I'll shoot other videos to dive deeper into that. Pretty deep things, actually. So those lessons came immediately to me, and then I knew I needed to not give up on this dream. I needed to change that thinking in my mind of, well, it's over, to, no, it's just going to be different than what I thought. And right then and there, I realized I needed to commit to recovering from this, because it's still really in the season. With proper exercise, therapy, and everything, I can be healed in 3 months. Fully healed from this in 3 months. And that would put me at the end of the ski season. So I can still pick up the late spring, and I'm going to finish the end of my trip. So what I've decided to do is pivot, and I'm going to take the next 3 months, and this is going to all be about recovering from this injury, how I do it as quickly as possible, how I can come back better and stronger, and how I'm going to finish out the season and get as many days in as I possibly can, despite this broken leg, despite the fact that happened. And I know it was my fault. I don't blame anybody. I don't blame anything else. I made a choice. Things happen. I paid the consequence. That's life. you know? But, and here's the beautiful thing about it. Like, I've gotten to experience unconditional love from friends and people that I had no idea even thought about me in any way, like all things that are like beautiful in this human existence. So I wouldn't have had that. It would have been all by myself if I wouldn't have broken this leg. I've been able to, it's been less than 2 weeks. And in these 2 weeks, I've hired somebody, I've built an entire new program, got all kinds of work stuff done. Like, I can't believe it. Like, in this time frame, because I've been so focused, I've probably gotten more done in less than 2 weeks than I have in a month or so. And I guess, sometimes you just need those things. So anyway, this journey now is gonna take a little side detour. Today's moving day out of Tahoe, finally. I had to have my buddy Eric, he flew up here to help me, and thank God, because I'd be if it wasn't for him. Like, seriously. I've been inside this thing. I had from last Thursday until last night when Eric got here. So nearly a week I was in this trailer without opening the door or leaving it. I've had plenty of food. I got water supply. This thing is like perfect for recovery, this RV, by the way. It's like my bed's almost like a perfect hospital bed. It's got everything I need to like support myself and move around. I could eat, drink, go to the bathroom. It's amazing. But last Saturday there was this massive snowstorm. It snowed over 30 inches and I got snowed into this thing, and I didn't have a shovel, and I can't really shovel with my broken leg. So thank God Eric flew up here, because last night he shoveled me out, and we're gonna pull the rig out today. I've got my follow-up appointment with the doctors in Tahoe here. They're gonna review everything, make sure my surgery and leg is healing properly, everything looks right, and give me my next round of meds and all that. And then once we're done at that appointment, we're gonna take 395 down to Huntington Beach, and I'm gonna be relocating to the beach for a month. 3 months actually. I'll be down there for January, February, March as a rehab in the warmth and get this thing better for ski season. And as soon as I'm doctor approved to get back on the slopes, I'm heading back up here. And I'm going to come back to Tahoe, and I'm going to finish what I started in Tahoe, because I only hit Heavenly a couple of times before I broke my leg. And and then I'm going to ski Tahoe, and then I'm going to go to Bend and finish the end of Bend. I'm going to skip Colorado and Utah. That was back on December 23rd. And I had to end up having surgery like that same day. So I've been in my Airstream, just hanging out and working and contemplating life and figuring out what I'm going to do next.